Hey everybody, welcome to Vaginal Fantasy. What is Vaginal Fantasy, you ask? Well, it's a good question. You're a smart individual. This is a book club where we discuss a romance genre book every month. Me and my three co-hosts get together and critique it in positive and negative ways, gently, oh so gently, and generally just get together and have some fun. And my awesome co-hosts are Veronica Belmont with the new hair.
Woo!
Bless you.
Thank you. I muted myself in time. You're welcome.
Your hair looks fantabulous.
Oh, thanks. It's just like smaller version of my old hair.
Really? It's not that small. I mean, it's just it's very chic, and the length of your bangs is perfect. Mm-hmm. And I'm just really a fan right now of your head.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I figured baby bangs would be a thing to try for a little while. They're to see how it feels and. Play around with some hairstyles. I want to get like an undercut, like it's all shaved. Maybe if I become a cool person, I'll do that.
Well, welcome to the Bangs Club.
I was been in the Bangs Club for quite some time. Thank you for that.
I mean, like,
she's the mistress of bangs. Yes. Veronica is. Like, whenever I got bangs for a while, and everybody was like, "You're copying Veronica," so I had to like give them up.
Right. What am I?
Bonnie's had them for a long time too. Bonnie is.
You're
That's
both
weird.
bang goddesses, okay?
I'll share it.
When I have bangs, then people just accuse me of copying Zoe Deschanel. So I don't. That's why I don't.
Okay. And my other co-hosts are Bonnie Burton with the other bangs number 2.
Out of my alien burster glass.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
See that? The chest burster. You know that alien?
Mm-hmm.
Alien?
Familiar?
I didn't have any zombie dinnerware. Sorry, glassware.
What are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking a rather festive rosé. I don't think I feel like it might be more of a wine cooler. I don't know. I went to the corner store and bought something quickly, so I think it may be a wine cooler. I just didn't realize it till I started drinking it, and then high school memories started flashing back.
I mean, you're drinking out of a straw, out of a novelty tumbler, so I mean it's the classiest way you could drink rosé, right?
Yes, the only thing missing are ice cubes.
Yeah, why don't you have ice cubes in it?
I
just have one big ice cube.
I want to go full throttle.
Oh, nice.
What are you drinking, Veronica? I forgot to ask you.
I'm drinking bourbon, 1776.
Wow. I love that one.
It's good.
Phil Plate is in the chat, and he just says, "I'm watching this with some."
Oh no!
If it traumatized you, Felicia, then what will you say here? Phil, I'm going to share my trauma. I'm going to share my trauma.
That's how we grow.
Much trauma.
That's how we grow as people.
Hi, Phil.
I'm taking clothes off.
Oh, take your clothes off. Oh, it's appropriate. And our last co-host is Kylie Caseby with the pigtails. Everyone's defined by their hair today. Mine is called the slop.
Mine is called it. I took a bath and I didn't care.
Okay, good. What are you drinking tonight, Kyla?
I'm drinking watered down blood because I felt like that was appropriate for the thing. It's actually not. It's some kind of strawberry thing and soda water. There's no alcohol in that. But I do have this left over from our true American party that we had this weekend, which if you watch New Girl is amazing. And this is left over as one of the kings of the castle till you could get to the actual king of the castle.
Okay. Very good. Well, we all are covered. I have falafel in my teeth still because I was running home from a voiceover job, and I ate 3 falafel balls in like 15 minutes. So I'm probably going to be burping. At some point, I'll just try to mute, just like Veronica muted her sneeze. I hope I'll get it in time. Okay, before we get into this book, which was interesting this month, I have to do a shout-out because this club has local meetups all over the world. And the great thing is, if you go to our forum at goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy, you could join one of them. A lot of them are online hangouts as well, so don't be limited to where you are to be able to join in a discussion about this book, the book that we, or the alt book that we pick, or other books. So this month we had many hangouts. We had the Books, Booze, and Board Games in London. We had The Only Lovers Left in the Library in Puerto Rico. That was a Google Plus hangout.
Oh.
We had the Ladies of the Great Lakes at Gizmo's Martini Bar in Wyandotte, Michigan, I believe. The Vaginal Girls Book Club was beautiful. I love that name. Met in Davenport, Florida. The Yearning Yinzers met in Pittsburgh. The vaginal, we're doing our vaginal fantasy right now. Thanks for adding that to the list. The Vaginistas are one of our longest running groups. The Vaginistas met in a Google Hangout. The Literary Ladies of the Night also met in the Google Hangout. It's a California-based hangout. The Beers, Books, and Boobs met in East Lansing. The Viking Booty in Real Life meetup met in Sweden, so they sent some pictures over, which was really cool. The Central European Tarts met in Europe, and that was a Google Plus hangout. The Venus Flytraps, I don't know why Venus, does that mean like you're catching something in your Venus? I don't know. Met in Centerville, Ohio, and the Viking Booty hangout happened. So they have met twice. Oh, it's about to happen on July 17th. So guys, if you want to create your own club or join an existing one, go to the forums and sign on up. All right. Anything else before we get into this book?
Yeah. First of all, my dog is creating a nest of blankets, not on the expensive Sealy Posturepedic bed I bought her. So I bought her like the most expensive dog bed, and look at her. Look at her. She's not even using it. She's making a nest.
Little buns on it. Her little bun. Oh, there she goes. She's getting her little buns on there.
No, she's gonna make a nest to buy it, but not in it. Like I should sleep in it. It's like better than my futon. She knows we're talking about her, by the way. She can tell. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I am cosplaying as Tina Belcher from Bob's Burgers. I don't know if anyone can tell. So I'm wearing the blue shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. It says Lucasfilm, but just pretend it doesn't say that. And I'm wearing the glasses, and I tried to find a yellow beret, but I couldn't find one. But for those of you who don't know who this is, it's the animated show Bob's Burgers, and the oldest daughter is really into zombie erotica.
Okay.
So that's why all those animated GIFs we've been posting all day of that girl with zombie.
Weirdly relevant. Weirdly relevant.
It was real. I was like, I didn't understand, and I thought it was Velma because I don't watch Bob's Burgers, so. Which is even more disturbing.
It was relevant, but not as relevant as I would have liked it to have been because there wasn't any actual zombie erotica.
Spoilers.
We'll get there.
We will get there. So first of all, since this book was my pick, before we read the back of it, and we do their little spiel, what we do every Vaginal Fantasy, where we read the back of the book so you know what we're talking about. This book was my choice, and I picked it purely on Goodreads reviews because I'd never read it, and it got really good Goodreads reviews, so those are the people to blame. And there's a threesome, which we hadn't had, I don't think, before in the book. Not us. I mean the book. Like, we haven't read a threesome before.
Where did Crucial start? I think.
Did it? I don't remember.
It had a lot of stuff, but it wasn't like featured in a graphic way like this dramatically was. So
I don't think there was any DP.
There's no DP. There's no DP. There was implied DP.
There's a lot of extra description I didn't need in this book, and I don't porn shame, so I'm a pro porn person, but this was just too much. So anyway, do you want to read the back of it, or do you want me to read the back of it?
I'll read the back of it. And you show. You show the cover because
it's a gorgeous cover.
It's really that hand is right there.
I'm gonna do this so it's a threesome because my hand's on her butt.
Oh, okay, good. So you'll join in. All right. Flesh by Kylie Scott. Allie has been hiding in an attic since civilization collapsed 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago, you guys. When the plague hit, her neighbors turned into mindless, hungry, homicidal maniacs. Daniel had been a loner his entire life. Then the world empties and he realizes that being alone isn't all it's cracked up to be. Finn is a former cop who is desperate for companionship and willing to do anything it takes to protect the survivors around him. When the three cross paths, they band together. Sparks fly, romance blooms in the wasteland, and Allie, Daniel, and Finn bend to their every human need in the ruins of civilization. Lust, love, and trust all come under fire in Flesh as the three band together to survive, hunted through the suburban wastelands.
Okay.
Okay, Bonnie, why don't you go first? This was your pick this month.
Suburban wastelands look like? It just looks like a warehouse in Denver. It doesn't really.
I mean, it's a lot to undergo, you know. 8 weeks, guys. 8 weeks.
Yeah.
8 weeks.
So a lot can happen in 2 months, but this is kind of ridiculous. So first of all, I want to apologize, and I'm sorry. So all of you who read it, who didn't think it was hilarious, and didn't hate read it like I did, and didn't find it amusing, I am so sorry. For those of you who are now traumatized, and there's actually a German follower, and she doesn't know that I translated her tweets, tweeted hate messages at me for this book.
Oh, no! It was Fracky? Was it Fracky?
I don't remember what the German for Bonnie is annoying and ridiculous, but those were the tweets. So
no, it would be Fracky.
Sorry, German user, but you have to have a sense of humor, and I assume Germans maybe don't have a sense of humor. I don't know. I met some pretty awesome Germans.
Hashtag not all Germans.
Yeah, not all Germans. So hashtag not all Germans, hashtag feminism. So anyway, I took notes.
Why am I drinking this?
Michelle Dawson in the chat thought it was hilarious. Okay, so there are people who enjoyed the book. There are people in the forum who enjoyed the book, and then people who thought it was hilarious. So I
thought it was funny. And keep in mind, this is everyone complained there wasn't enough sex in the last book. So I said, okay,
you did a good job. You did a good job.
You did.
You're opening up the vaginal floodgates, and you were.
Phrasing.
Sex. This is like, you wanted sex, I bring the sex. Every time it's my book choice, I bring something shocking. So there was no Cthulhu in this, but
I know. I like it. Bonnie, just let's chill for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that you're willing to go there. I appreciate that you like a little danger, and I appreciate that you push us to our limits. If the haters gonna hate, just know that even though not every book pick is gonna be a winner, and we've all picked a few stinkers, I always look forward to your picks because I know they're going to be different.
Also, for the record, you're not forced to read the book. This was clearly stated what this book was going to be, and if you thought you were going to enter a masterpiece, with any of the reviews or the description, you probably use your judgment as an adult and just be like, I'm going to sit this one out this month. It's fine.
On the plus side, there was no actual zombie sex. So
on the plus side.
Well, I'm just saying, if you don't want to have sex with somebody who might come apart while you're coming apart.
That is great. That is the tagline to the book.
Or while you're coming together.
It writes itself. It's amazing. That's so good.
While you're coming together.
It was.
You have to write that on Wattpad. Good to know.
It's like a love story for when you don't want to literally fall apart. So, it wasn't like we've read an actual romance where there is zombie sex. White Trash Zombie was the name of the book. It's episode 11.
Yep.
November 2012. So if you guys want to go back and watch that, if you want real zombie sex, that's the book we read. But this one is about what happens when you're the humans trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. Kind of like Walking Dead, right? But with a lot more sex and a lot less talking.
Mm-hmm.
Erecting dead.
Erecting dead. Right.
And far less Carl, which I think everyone
thank God Carl wasn't there.
Yeah.
Why would he be? I mean, where the hell is he anyways?
So the fact that this is only 2 months, and apparently all the guys turn into cavemen, and can't handle 2 months without sex without reverting into
mine,
give me boobies, honestly, I was just like, really? That's all it takes is 2 months of no sex, and this is what happens to dudes in this book?
What things like inside his tantrics. I mean, can you imagine what's inside him right now?
Yeah.
Right.
I felt bad for. Anyway, so
what did you overall think? Okay, we're gonna do overall thoughts, and then we'll get into this.
Okay, let's do overall thoughts.
Okay.
I have so many. So my overall thoughts was clearly this is not a feminist erotica book. This is slightly. I'm trying to be nice, but this is more than slightly misogynistic. It's kind of like that helpless woman trope. I'm a girl. I need boys to protect me from zombies. Like that. It's that. It's like, I can't function. I'm just gonna stay in this attic until I figure out how to find a manly man to save me. That's basically what this book is kind of like. And Allie is the main female character, and she's completely useless, and she's a klutz, but not in a cute. She's not a klutz in a cute Jennifer Lawrence way. She's a klutz in the how is she still alive way. And I didn't, the overall thought of her, we'll get into characters later, but the overall thoughts were the zombies weren't threatening enough. There weren't enough zombies, period. The sex was super graphic. So if you want a how-to manual, the guy characters, I didn't like most of it, and then while I was reading it, look at my dog, right, she knows what I'm going to say. I was worried about how bad everyone smelled in the book.
They did get that one shower in. They had that one, at least
shower.
one
They
shower.
had the one wipe down before they had the intercourse.
Yeah, there's like one wipe down, and that's just, I don't know. So it was an interesting take about male to male sex relationships. I wouldn't say this is a perfect poly relationship by any stretch of the imagination, but it was different in the sense that it wasn't like a guy telling a girl that she can't look at other guys. So at least it was, hey, I'm going to be a total jerk, but hey, you could be with that guy too, and at the same time, I'm cool with that. Like that's not something that a lot of guys would say post-apocalyptic. They would probably kill each other over the girl. They wouldn't share her. So I thought that was very, I don't know what I would even say. Very pro-poly in a way. In a post-apocalyptic world, there's so many P's in that sentence.
Post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic. Poly. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are my initial thoughts, but I literally have like a page of back and forth of what I.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll get to it. We just want to do overall thoughts. Okay, Kyla, do you want to go next? What were your overall thoughts of the book?
Okay, so from the first sentence, it was just like, that's my girl. And I was like, what? you don't even, are you kidding me? and then it's like, let me show you how to do all the stuff. And like, she's like, oh God, I don't know how the thing works. But he wouldn't even give her a chance to try, but like, that's my girl. And he just kept like, that's my girl, and he's like, he'd never met her before. And like, I get it. I get that you're traumatized and everything, but I mean, plenty of men go months without sex without like freaking out like that. But I know you're starved for human companionship, but still, she's not your girl. Okay, so I got really pissed off. But then as I read the book, I still got pissed off, but I did actually really enjoy all the sex scenes, as shitty and misogynistic as they were, just as pure porn writing. It was good. I think that's all I could say about this book for right now. That's my just overall.
Veronica, what were your thoughts?
So I was in atypical Veronica fashion. I did not finish this month's book pick. It just didn't happen. I know I got exactly halfway through. So I missed the threesome.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the threesome. I'm hoping someone can send me a Kindle place and time so I can go back and read the scene without having to read the rest of the garbage, which is
I
awful.
will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Like some kind of page link, or I don't know how the technology works with that. That'd be great.
I'll text you the page.
Okay. And so I was disappointed by the lack of zombies. Like, I felt like for a zombie apocalyptic tale, like it was very heavy on the other survivor storyline, which is usually typical of, like, Walking Dead in recent seasons has become a lot more about the bad people in the world versus the actual zombies, which are still a huge threat, but they're kind of like a peripheral thing that's always kind of annoying, but the true danger are the other people. And after a while, it's just like, okay, the motorcycle guys, okay, great, okay, fine, okay, I get it. Just move, for fuck's sake, go somewhere else. Like, maybe they did, but it seemed to take a really long time to get out of that neighborhood, right?
Right. Yeah, they stuck around a long time,
way too long,
for no reason.
Like, travel at night, like, stop having sex and spend the dark hours of the evening to get yourself the hell out of that neighborhood.
But they needed the sex so bad, Veronica.
Human.
Months. Like, no one's ever gone months.
8 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 months. 2 months.
God.
Not even 2 months. That's just short of 2 months, you guys. 8 weeks is not 2 months.
You can't, like, no one is no one been married. That's all I'm saying.
So, yeah. I felt like Daniel, he was motivated more by self-interest than actually wanting her to, like, look at other dudes. I felt like for him, he was, like, kind of interested in Finn, and so he suggested this thing, which she felt actually pretty uncomfortable with at first. Mm-hmm. And it took her a long time. I'm just getting to the point where she's now, where they just started making out. Like, they just started making out, like her and Finn. And so it's like, all right, well, you're not really, maybe you're coming around to it, but this was not your idea. And this was not on your mind. And which is, I guess it's working out okay. But yeah, that I felt like that was a little like, okay, this is not your idea, really. You're just kind of playing into it. Because what are you going to do? Say no, and then the two dudes who are protecting you are going to like be like, okay, later, I guess we'll go off ourselves. I don't know. But the sex was hot. The sex was pretty good.
Okay.
It was.
It was.
Oh, it's good. That's why I had, from the first page, I hated this guy Daniel so much that I just wanted her to take the shot, like rewrite a paragraph where she took her shotgun and she blew his head off, and that was the end of the book. He was literally the worst ever. He didn't know her, and then he was like, yeah, you're right, Kylie, that's mine. I'm like, what? You just came into this house, and then he kept like grabbing her to calm her down.
Oh yeah.
Really spasming that hard, and it was very assaulty in my mind, where he was limiting her movement as a stranger. I would assume this guy was going to assault me or rape me, and the fact that that's the way they start the relationship, I had no sympathy for this loser at all.
He's calming her down like she's some kind of wild animal.
Yeah, he's like her own personal straitjacket with a Woody. Okay, right. So he was awful. So I hated that. And then, just, she was useless. We're talking like the aggregate IQ of the threesome was probably like in the 50s. So like, I couldn't find it hot because I found these people so dumb that I couldn't. I think the threesome thing, I think we should read a book maybe with it when they actually have brains, because maybe I would have thought it was hotter. Because and the whole thing, like, we can get into all the details, but just the way the threesome came about was like, hey, I guess this is what you want. He's like, what? No, I don't. Why would I want that? Like, nobody wanted it but the guy, Daniel, the guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I haven't read it yet, can you guys describe how the initial like three-way goes down?
Which one is that one? Is that the one, the rapey one, where he's like making her?
There's the one where she puts her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And they're cuddling. And then
does Daniel come in and watch?
He just watches. He just watches. But the last one, does Daniel come in or Finn come in? I think Finn comes in, and Daniel is the one warming her up in her.
Oh yeah, she's being warmed up, like she's being warmed up in her butthole. In
her butt. So and then they like get undressed, and then they like get in bed together, and then the whole not zombie but zombie apocalypse sandwich happens.
Okay. I just want you guys to know that at the moment that we're having this conversation, my best friend is sending me photos of the new kitten she just got. So it's like a real-time kitten chaser. Which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
I don't want to think of those things at the same time.
Does anybody remember? Okay, so anybody go to Spencer's when they were a kid, and they get that worm thing that you tried to? It's like has two holes. It's like rubber, and it's two holes, and then it like slips out of your fingers.
Yeah.
Finger trap.
That's the finger trap. That's all I could think of when they're. Okay, guys, it's gonna get graphic. There was a P in her V, and there was a P in her A. Yeah. And then the guy is talking about. Oh, I can feel the other pee touching mine as they're going. I was like,
I don't see, but I thought that was kind of hot. I mean, I think it's hot. I think it's hot. I like it. I think it's a really great fantasy. I don't ever want to do it in real life, but I do think it's a hot fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of straight women that love gay porn.
I like gay porn.
Gay guy porn. So I don't know. Like, I thought, first of all, if there's going to be a
I just said that on the internet, so now the whole world knows that I like it. My mother knows that I like it.
A lot of people liked it. I just could not, because they were so stupid, I was like, please don't reproduce, and get your penis out of that hole. Just get it out of there.
Oh, what about that? The fact that they weren't. They decided to become non-condom-y.
They decided that? When did they decide that?
You guys are rushing way past what
Sorry. Okay, let's back up. Okay.
That doesn't happen until the end of the book. So let's not get ahead of it.
Is that to repopulate the world? Repopulate the world?
Supposedly. I think it's probably because dudes don't like condoms. But, well, they gave me UTIs too, so I did it.
Oh, God, UTI. Okay, let me just read a couple things from the forum, and then we'll start to get into the details, guys, because I could go off on... okay. Avid Reader said, I'm really glad I pushed my way through the scenes that I didn't care for, because it was actually a good book. See, so, Bonnie, some people liked it.
Thanks.
The Retro Noisette says, makes me wonder why the women survivors haven't gone off to open their own commune, because these guys were... So dumb. Yes, I agree with you. I want to kind of see this gender bent with 2 capable women and a rabbity guy.
Yes.
Which is pretty funny.
That'd be interesting.
Yes.
And then we had a couple limbs, even though people were very happy about. And then we had much controversy about a certain sex scene that we could talk about later, and consent issues. So that was overall the forum had a lot of discussion about this, especially about that one scene, which we'll get into later. But let's talk just on the surface because there's not much of it. Talk about the lore and the history and the believability of this world.
We don't know anything about it. There's no literally zero world building.
I didn't even know till the end that we were in Australia.
Yeah.
What? We were in Australia?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing about with how they got guns. So whatever.
Okay, yeah. So
Everything.
back up. Wait. I have to interject here. So in our forums, first of all, the author's Australian and it takes place in Australia. But in our forums, a lot of actual Australians were like, first of all, our houses don't have attics. And second of all, we have really tough gun laws. So it would be really hard for her to come across those guns. I don't know what post-apocalyptic gun situation would be like in other countries. I feel like here we trip over guns here all the time anyway. So.
And then you just die.
I mean, whatever. They're like, yeah. So
Naomi Cecil from the chat says it's based in Brisbane. And it's the geographical stuff is the worst. So basically, this Australian author never went to Brisbane, and then she just was like, "I'm going to set this in Brisbane because it's kind of the Houston of Australia."
And Ian says, not even a single g'day or anything.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
I had no idea. I thought it was in the Midwest.
Me too.
I mean, this was a lost opportunity because we could have had zombie kangaroos. I mean, come on.
Koalas spreading chlamydia everywhere.
Yes.
Like they do.
This could have been so much more, but I feel like she was more the author is more about the sex part and the humans than.
Oh, apparently the author lives in Brisbane?
What? Why was the geography so weird? I had to read the forums, and then it made me aware of the fact that it was set in Australia because no one talked there was no cues, there was no vocabulary that cued me that it wasn't America. I kind of thought it was Alabama.
Is it like when you listen to singers and singers lose their accents when they sing? Is it like when you write erotica, you lose your Australian accent?
It's like when you're Mel Gibson and you lose your Australian accent.
And become a racist?
And become a racist.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Maybe her editor took out anything that was Australian to be able to appeal to a mass audience more.
That would have appealed to me more.
Me too. It would have been so much more interesting to know that this was happening in Australia. I would have really liked to know about what was going on.
I mean, if I was her editor, I'd be less concerned about the Australia and the fact that this zombie apocalyptic book doesn't have any zombies in it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so basically the lore and the history, the problem is that libido aside, 8 weeks is very fast for for society to completely collapse in this way. You know what I'm saying?
Is it though? I mean, how's that Brexit thing doing?
Are they zombies yet?
Have they reverted to it reminds me of that SNL skit where the electricity goes out at a TV network, like a news anchor network.
Oh, and then they start eating each other.
News anchors turn into cavemen because they don't have a teleprompter. Oh, that's it. The teleprompter breaks down, and then they turn into cavemen instantly. I kind of feel like in certain parts of the United States, if this happened, it would turn into militia hee-haw pretty quickly. And the rest of the United States there might be 1% that are trying to look out for each other, but everybody else is just looting and pillaging and raping and killing. And
I don't know because listen, the Black Death. I just read a book on the Black Death, and literally 1 out of 2 people died during this, and society broke down a little bit, but people kept living. It wasn't half the people are dead. I'm literally going to just rape and pillage and murder everybody. That's not what happened, and that's literally half of Europe died.
Okay.
So I feel like
they still had a government in place.
Yeah, and people did their daily jobs.
Yeah, so I think that this is, I can't remember who wrote about this, but or maybe it was when I was watching The Walking Dead, I don't know, but they talked about how, this is how it happens, it was Fear of the Walking Dead. So this is when that kid, I don't know if you've watched Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Teen explains it in the first, 2 episodes to the to the main woman, who's the teacher. Principal.
Yeah.
And he explains, like, first what's going to happen is this. You're going to lose all your power. And then you're going to lose this. And then you're going to lose this. And this is what's going to happen to the people. And it does actually happen that fast. Society will break down that quickly.
Okay. And then the men will never be able to touch themselves, and they'll be so frustrated at 8 weeks that they'll literally take the first woman and just own her.
So basically, if this happens, we should all start hoarding lube now.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
And
I'll just have someone to warm me up, I guess. That's all you need. So.
Yeah, that's it. It's super easy.
I'm never gonna say never, because I mean, if it's like a Hiddleston Cumberbatch situation,
Absolutely, sign me up.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude.
Do you think that's what's going on with Taylor Swift? Do you think we don't know about the Cumberbatch part?
Someone wrote on Twitter, like, Tom, if you're in trouble, blink twice in the next photo. If you need us to come get you.
Why is it that Taylor Swift is being equated with Tom Cruise all of a sudden? Like, she's a normal girl. I mean,
I think she's a cult. I don't know.
Wait, what? What about Tom Cruise?
Well, they think she's a cult. That's why.
I mean, there's an age difference. Who cares? Like, I don't think it's that big a deal. I think it's just unexpected because usually Taylor Swift doesn't date the Hiddleston type.
I'm happy for her, but it's irrelevant because she doesn't know me.
Yeah, I know. I think it's great. You know, whatever.
To be happy.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
She seems like a nice girl.
Moving on.
One thing I wanted to bring up in the lore section was, and it was brought up by Vivian on the forums, what was the deal with the dogs? So basically,
yes,
there's this, and Veronica, you didn't get to the end, but basically, so there are these dogs that are hinted at, and they're kind of zombie dogs they're hinted at as predators to the zombies and humans.
Yeah.
And at the end, they come out and they're a little Cujo-esque, but they are beaten very easily and then they go away. Did anybody feel like there should have been a bigger plot?
Keep in mind, this is not the only book. This is a book in a series. So I feel like there might
but I don't mean to interrupt you, Bonnie.
That clarifies that a bit more. And I kind of associated those dogs. Wait a minute, Kylie. I associated those dogs a little bit with like the dogs in Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil dogs attacked both the zombie humans and regular humans. So I don't think they were like, they're not like trained to just attack live things. I think they're like any dog. If it moves, they'll run after it.
Yeah.
Somebody just, Andrew Wolf just tweeted, said in chat, what was with the dogs? What was with the everything? So.
Yeah. Well, so what I was saying was, what I saw at the end of the book was that the next in the series is actually in a whole different area with a whole different set of people.
No, it's the same people. It's the same area, different people.
Yeah.
No dogs. People. No dogs in the continuing the series, Georgina says.
Oh.
See,
you read the whole series? Jesus.
No. Georgina Parkin.
No, I know.
Yeah, I guess you did.
we have to send you a cupcake because that's taking one for the team right there.
Yeah, it really
is. It was of her own volition that she kept going. You know. Anyway, okay. Well, that was the thing that really irritated me the most, among other things. And I guess we can keep going. Okay. What about the story? A lot of people had comments about the gun laws, which are ridiculous, and they're just not lying around people's houses unlocked. And a lot of people are like, we're waiting for the zombies to do more than just buzz and bump into things.
I know, right? It was such a killjoy to not have the zombies act like zombies. It felt like the zombies were like bed bugs. Like like they were annoying and gross.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'd rather have zombies than bed bugs. Bed bugs are the thing in this world that terrify me more than anything else. I have a weird thing about them. I've never had them.
Neither.
I know of.
And also crabs, I've heard that they look like little spiders.
They're more cockroachy. They're not. I mean,
no, that's better.
Is it the same thing as a crab? Is a bed bug the same thing as a crab?
No.
Okay.
No. And also, I hate to break it to you, but bed bugs also hide in old books.
Yeah, I know that. I know, Bonnie, I know all the things about bed bugs.
That is a cruel reality I didn't want to know.
It feels like that Doctor Who episode, right? Where the things are living in the library, and I'm like, but it's such a cool library. I'm willing to die there.
If there's not by bed bugs.
Not by bed bugs, no. So my with the world building and the zombies, it was kind of like, why even bother with zombies? Just make it like why last man's like why last.
Yeah.
Have it be like post-apocalyptic, but no zombies. It's still scary. I mean, The Road is one of the scariest books I've ever read.
Oh yeah.
Or The Stand.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
and on most zombie stories kind of reiterate this. It's not the zombies to be afraid of; it's other humans that have just gone crazy. So
Yeah, it's always about the people. The
They felt tacked on, right?
Yeah.
Like the zombies felt
It
tacked
should have
on.
just been Zika. It should have been Zika virus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who says she can never really get pregnant?
Yeah, then she has to keep the condoms.
Oh.
Oh, condoms. Well, it was like, okay, we don't have anything left. We can't find food, but everyone has 40,000 condoms on them.
They're like making sure they got condoms on them.
You know?
Even now, most people don't have that many condoms.
No, or ever. They're like,
That's the primary industry in this new rebuilding world.
I know, Paul. You would
Yeah.
invest in some decent lube or something, not condoms. Like,
He-
come on.
He who controls the condoms controls the universe.
Bravo. That deserves bravo, Kylie.
Thank
Okay,
you.
but
If we did episode titles, that would be the episode title.
That would be our tagline. So before we get into all the sex scenes, because there are many to critique, separately and as an aggregate, did anybody, let's think about the relationship arc of this.
Okay.
First of all, Daniel walks in and is like, I own you.
Yeah.
And I'm never leaving you alone, which is the worst thing I've ever read in my life.
Mhm.
And then suddenly he breaks her down enough that she is like, all right, and they have roof sex. And then
By the way, that's only within hours.
Hours.
Not like
Hours.
it took that one of those weeks. No, it didn't take long to like wear her down where he's like, oh, I'm here to protect you. He has no concept of space issues, right? Like
No, not at all. No space
No
whatsoever.
boundaries.
He's like, hey, we just met. Okay, can I have some space? Cut to 2 minutes later. He's literally 2 inches from her while she's showering. It's just like, give me my back.
Hey,
Back off.
I just met you, and this is crazy. But there's some zombies, so let me watch you, maybe. I don't know. Or let me fuck you, maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, at least he had the bright idea to tell her to take a freaking shower.
Well, yes,
That was for his own hygienic needs. He just wanted to go.
Okay, so here's an important thing about the shower.
He only cared that she was sticky.
Wait. Why did she shave her legs? Why is that so important?
Yes.
Why is that so? Did she shave everything? No, just her legs. If she cares that much, go for the full wax.
Shave the whole thing. Well, or at least, like,
Doing deep
bikini line or
to
something.
wax everything because you don't want. So I'm just saying, why does shave her like? Why not there?
Why would she shave her legs? You're right. Like, why that detail? She's like, I don't want to be with you. I'm sorry. Back off. By the way, I'm going to make myself smooth as a baby from the knee down.
Well, okay, I would like to say that I actually don't feel clean unless I have shaved all of the parts that I like to shave. So I don't, and that's just I've always been that way. The smooth legs feel really, really clean to me. For me, I don't give a shit about other people. It's
I
about
wouldn't
me.
trust a strange man staring at me while I shower with a razor in my hand. Like,
Well,
I would just be thinking he's going to assault me.
Well, he's in the bathtub. Well, you're in the bathtub, so you've got the razor. But
There
then
was
also,
the-
I don't think I would shave my area like if he's standing there. I mean, I make sure he'd be around, like turned around, so I could be like, get to the parts you got to get to. You know.
Did he have a beard? Like, did he shave his face? Like, I don't recall any man shaving going on.
Good point.
Well,
I was so
course not.
confused by that first scene in the shower, like the writing. Like I could not tell if he was in the shower with her or just standing on the
He just kept
outside.
creeping. You know that meme where the cat, every time you look, the cat's closer, but you don't see it move? That's how he was. Like, oh, okay, I'll give you some space. Take a shower, and then he's suddenly here. And he's here. And he's like in the shower.
That's exactly how it
It's like,
felt.
Hi,
Yeah. Hi.
I missed you.
Okay, so anyway, moving along.
I love you.
I'm just trying to trace the
I'm
relationship.
so lonely. I love you. I'm so lonely. Please hold me. Oh God.
I don't even like dudes. Can we just get
You're
this
my
thing on?
girl. I don't like dudes, but I
You're
would if
mine.
Do you want me to scrub your back?
You have bed bugs. Do you want me to take care of those for you?
I'll do whatever.
Here's a loofah.
Would you like a dry scrub? I heard that's good for exfoliating.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So, okay, let's just trace, if I'm missing anything, remind me. So, basically, she gives in, they have the sexing, and then they move on, and they go and they get attacked by these motorcycle gangs.
Back up. the reason they get attacked by the bikers is because he is so into feeling her boobs. Like, he doesn't realize this biker gang behind him. Like, how fascinating are her breasts that he doesn't know a loud biker gang is about to attack. Sons of Anarchy is behind him while he's doing this. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Yes, exactly. And he's like, I'm going to protect you, except I'm so, like, into your breasts that I can't see a biker gang. You're right. This is the guy I want to protect me forever.
No, it's true. He's just like...
It's not like biker gangs don't tiptoe. They're not, like, super quiet.
No. But also, what I also loved is that he was, like, fascinated by her ass, which was, like, some, interesting foreshadowing. And he was like, I'm going to get into that later. I mean, he basically said that. And then the biker game showed up.
Yeah. Okay,
so right, what else did I miss? So they had the threesome.
So they did it. No, they didn't have...
that was at the very end.
We're gonna get, so this is what I don't understand. The relationship trajectory from single girl in an attic to a threesome is like, okay, so they run into this guy Finn, this young, hot, kind of blonde guy, saves their ass because, again, Daniel is incompetent in the grocery store. And so they join up with him. He saves them. And out of the blue, within like 3 hours of meeting each other, he's like, it's okay if you have her. No, doesn't talk to her about it at all. She's not attracted to this guy. He's like, all right, you can get in there. What?
And the reasoning behind it was they think they can protect her better if they share her.
If they're not competing.
Yeah. And for some reason, they feel like they have to protect her. They both,
she kind of needed this one.
Well, she did. But then also, like his, that was kind of out of the blue, right? That chapter begins with like a guy watching. I was like, where's this? Who's this guy? And he's like, that. And he also said, that's my girl.
Yeah. Yep. He was creeping. He was creeping them being creepy. So he was like, Finn was creeping on Daniel being creepy. So it was
Why did Finn call her Al and Daniel called her Allie? Did you notice that in the writing?
I noticed. Well, I feel like it's because he loved Paul Simon.
That's okay. For most of the book, I thought they meant AI.
AI. My AI.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Like, it made more sense if I pretended she was a robot.
Or, okay, no, you know what also would have made more sense, guys?
Ex Machina? Okay, well, oh God, if he had been Oscar Isaac, then I don't know what I would have done.
You automatically go to sharing. But, like, listen, okay, let's say you're 2 months in and you don't see any other women around, or 6 months in, all right? Let's give it I would say 2 to 6 months is a good window, like, hey, we might be the only people left. Maybe we should think about maybe branching out and maybe having sex with each other in a more aggressive way. You don't do it within 12 and a half hours. You're just like, this is the only solution. We've got to get in there.
I don't want to judge her sex decisions because sometimes you just meet the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
12 hours, I mean.
She wanted him.
I mean, maybe it was like
wanted him.
Post-apocalyptic YOLO things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she kind of said that. She kind of said that with Daniel. She was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not this kind of girl.
But she was really in love with him, and then when Daniel was like, "Hey, we're gonna share you," she's like, "What?" It was out of nowhere. He planted that seed. She did not want that, and that's why I was just like, "What's going on?"
That's what I was saying in the beginning.
Yeah, it did. It hurt her feelings, and then Finn hurt her feelings, and they were just hurting her feelings all the time. But it was all about their feels,
Mm-hmm.
But couched in, we only care about how Allie is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So then anyway, they don't do it, and then they get to this commune with all these people, and then this mystery starts up that somebody's murdering women, and Allie does something really stupid. She goes off and she forages without like leaving a freaking note, like an idiot. And then, that's
survival 101. You don't forage without leaving a note.
No.
Yeah, you gotta leave a post-it or something. Anyway, so but then they have she has sex with Finn. She's like, okay, I'm gonna get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like really aggressive and just like doing her in a very unfeeling way. And she's like, hold up, I don't like this.
Right, I remember that. I got that far.
Which was okay. At least she took some agency.
I did like that part.
Yeah. And then they get into the commune, and then they start three-waying, which just all the way. But did you guys like buy that that's what would happen within a 48-hour period? That would be the evolution?
No.
Well, in the context of the book, yes.
Okay.
In the real world, no.
In the real world, no.
I think in the real world we'd still be super picky. I mean, even if you were the last 2 people on Earth, you might still be picky.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I guess they were super hot.
You would probably wait until you absolutely, okay, I guess if we want humanity to continue, I'll have sex with that guy maybe in a year or 2.
Yeah. Or I would never have sex with men that dumb, okay? I'm sorry.
No.
I would be like, go pick up a box.
Really? If he was hot and he was like one of the last dudes on Earth? Because
It would take a week at
would
least.
probably have sex with them right away.
Okay.
Yeah, I am okay with having sex with dumb male models.
Yeah, I don't. It's not a
All
problem.
right. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. I would have to have some kind of intellectual something stimulation other than them just being good looking, because that doesn't always.
Wait. Do I still have my does my Kindle Paperwhite work in the apocalypse?
It works.
No batteries.
No
No batteries?
No.
What if I have one of those like solar?
No, it's all for books. I'm gonna be where you come to for the for books, because I'm the only one left that has paper books. So
Like I'm a good shot. Like okay, so here's the deal. I'm a good
burn those
shot.
for fire anyway.
I'm a pretty good shot. I feel like I could I'm in pretty good shape. I feel like I'm kind of smart. But if I found like a big buff dude that was not that bright and wanted to bone me, and my husband was dead and everyone else was dead, then there's worse things in the world than having a dude that wants to also bone you and protect you.
Yeah.
Having your back.
You're
as long as I'm
basically
not too distracted by my awesome ass.
You basically just described the beginning of The Walking Dead.
There you go.
yeah, I mean, not all Mensa members are
Miami.
not all Mensa
You're
members.
Lori.
Mm-mm.
No, I know you're not. You're not at all. I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult you that way.
That's okay.
Okay. Listen.
I'm Maggie.
I would never insult you that way. Yes.
I'm Maggie.
I'm Maggie.
Let's talk about the scene that caused all the controversy on the forums. Veronica, you didn't get to it, but it was very, very controversial. So basically, okay, am I remembering this right? Was this after the raid where she got they had to go rescue her, or was it after she went out for the first raid and didn't tell them and she was traumatized?
I can't remember which one it was. It was where. No, it was where they used her as bait, right?
They used her as bait, and she was very upset and traumatized. Okay,
Yes.
and this was with things like I need you not to be catatonic, and he basically, in trying to make her not withdraw from them, he forces her into a threesome. He persuades her into a threesome. Some people were like, it's fine, and I mean, the way I read it, she was not a willing participant. He kept pushing her, and then when she looked to Daniel to be like, hey, stop this guy, he's like, he's not hurting you, so I'm just going to watch, which I thought was so disgusting.
It was very upsetting. He was just like...
upsetting. A lot of people on the forum, but there was a lot of controversy about this, because some people were like, it's fantasy. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
She was reluctant, but it wasn't total consent problems, and people were, and then other people were just like, this is outright rape.
Okay, so in real world terms, yes. So if this happened in real world, if this was like another, God forbid, Stanford trial, then yes, that is rape. That is not good. No consent, no at any point during sex is still rape. Just know that. Like, you can be halfway through, and if you say no, they have to stop. I mean,
yeah. Yes. Also, but you're concussed. Okay.
She's shocked. She's in shock.
She's in shock. She's concussed.
Right.
Let's not use sex as a way to keep her awake.
I mean, concussed is like the equivalent of being like drunk and you're not aware of your situation and all that.
Exactly.
So I just want to go on the record saying 100%, I totally understand where everyone on the forums was at. I totally agree. However, this is a book, and there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily realistic, including all of Australia, in this book. So it's okay to be upset about that, and you should be upset. I'm not saying you should be okay with anything like that happens in the book, but throughout the book, they're peer pressuring her to have sex, pretty much. But the fact that she even says, "Oh, okay, fine," like she puts up a fight, but then doesn't put up a fight, or puts up a fight, but then gets tired and gives in. I don't know if that's just how you feel after you're in a post-apocalyptic world for 2 months. And that's who you're stuck with, and that's just, you are so shell-shocked and you give up on life. But she didn't seem like a suicidal give up on life type. She just seemed really stupid.
She seemed tired and shocked, and she just needed to have like a nap, and he's literally laying on her and basically forcing her into intercourse. And I thought the ultimate betrayal was when she looked to Daniel for help, to be like, hey, can you stop this? And he's like, he's not hurting you, so I'm just going to watch. I'm like, he's hurting her emotionally by betraying her boundaries. That's what actually the betrayal of Daniel was even worse to me than Finn being like, hey, you're really not into this. I don't know. For me, that was really awful.
He was part of the problem, and it's ironic because the whole point of their threesome is to make her safer.
Exactly. And yet she is not safe in a sexual context with them because they're making her do things she's not uncomfortable with and taking her in a vulnerable moment and not listening or caring for her at all.
I mean, she'd probably be safer with the non-existent zombies.
Probably. She was doing fine in the attic before they showed up.
Yeah.
She was doing just fine on her own.
But I will say it was interesting when that girl showed up and she got jealous of the girl.
Girl?
Yeah. So there's
Erin.
Erin comes up in the book. And does she flirt with Daniel or Finn?
She flirts with Finn because Finn's on the fence about the whole three-way thing, and he's like, well, I'm going to go over with this girl, which I was like, good.
Yeah, do that.
This is the breakdown for Veronica, who probably didn't read this part, but what happened was that she flirts with Finn, and Allie gets jealous and comes up to her. But the cool thing was, instead of turning into like a cat fight, which always happens in these books, the girl backed off. She's like, oh, I didn't know that he was also with you.
Because he was flirting with her. He was flirting with her.
Yeah, and so she's like, I'm so sorry, and she went away. So at least it wasn't like that, that usual girl-on-girl fighting for guy situation. The guy's never worth it. Like, at least it wasn't like that, but it was kind of like, well, it's just confusing. There's a lot of confusing things in this book, but I hope no one takes it as this is how women really are, because we're not like that.
Carly said she wanted Erin and Allie to get together. I wanted them to Thelma and Louise these guys.
Yeah, me too.
And right off into the zombie sunset.
Yeah, I wanted the bi twist, but have it go towards the girls. Or I wanted Allie to become a zombie and they still had sex with her.
There you go.
Oh, okay, that would have been good.
Then all of our needs are met.
Yeah, I wanted the dudes to get together. I assumed they were gonna have a moment as well. Like they had their sexual moment.
Yeah, just the men by themselves. Yeah, that would have been good. I mean, it was Daniel who said he was attracted to Finn in the first place.
Exactly.
Why don't you just get it on? I mean, come on. Okay, we have some really good questions I want to get to on the forum. Any other comments about? I mean, we talked about the weird one with the P and the V and the P and the A, and it's just like, ow.
I do want to bring up some of the terminology.
Never the twain shall meet.
Never the taint shall.
I know that was the next best joke.
Sorry.
Okay. That was good. That was actually good. Some of the terminology in the book. I had no idea there were so many adjectives to describe testicles.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when they're like, when you talked about the sex, they really went into detail about the testicles. I'm like, really? I never hear about the balls whenever we're like reading this stuff. It's always like heaving bosoms and rock hard wood rod, and there's never any balls. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, people just don't talk about it in romance books, and this was talked about it at length. And then can someone describe to me what pebbling nipples are?
I think, it's when your nipples get hard and all the little fingers like bing, 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 and a circle.
Yeah, it was weird because I just didn't quite understand if that, okay.
Every time they mention balls, all I can think of, they don't have enough showers and those balls stink. Like, you never want to be down.
They must.
Gross to me. Also, you're right, they weren't shaving anything.
Oh. So
anyway.
There's probably stuff collecting in that, like, mesh that they've got.
Okay, so we had some good questions. So Laura asked, is there a post-apocalyptic book out there where females are not a commodity, which I think maybe is just a statement about post-apocalyptic. Is it necessary in a post-apocalyptic world that women become chattel in a sense and not own their bodies as much because somehow their reproductive abilities sort of own their identities because they're needed by society as a whole and therefore they're kind of subservient to that? In those situations, what do you think?
It depends, right? Like, Veronica, would you say there's like a big difference between how women are treated in a post-apocalyptic as opposed to dystopian?
Well, they can be, I mean, they get mixed up a lot. I think probably post-apocalyptic, though it has a very negative connotation, can still not necessarily be dystopian. I think, but then dystopian does not necessarily mean post-apocalyptic. Dystopian doesn't necessarily mean scarcity of resource.
Okay.
So
I always get those confused. I always thought dystopian was like Brave New World, where everything
It is. Yes.
everything's like clean or like Running Man, where it's like everything's clean and kind of sterile, and then there's issues there. But then post-apocalyptic's more like the Mad Max, Wild West kind of situation.
Something apocalyptic has happened to the world.
And there's typically like, a lack of resources or people or whatever. And I feel
there's no government, there's no law, there's no,
I would like to read a story about basically like a female tribe of people in a post-apocalyptic setting where they've taken matters into their own hands and what that would be like. That'd be
There's a really good book by Sherry S. Tepper called Gate to Women's Country, and it's about a woman, like a woman-run society in a science fiction world. It's one of my favorite books. We should
that'd be
read
cool.
it, maybe.
Oh, I would like to read that because I think the only Sherry S. Tepper books I read were the ones that were they were like Sleeping Beauty-ish ones.
Oh yeah. Those. She's a great author and very feminist. Like, you should read her and Octavia Butler sometime.
They just weren't like I read them when I was really young, and there's a lot of rape. So in those ones, I was a little traumatized, and so I was like, I don't know if I can keep reading these, even though I really like them.
I will say that
I was really young.
I will say that the Why Last Man, and I brought it up before by Brian K. Vaughan, that graphic novel, that comic series does talk about what if there's one guy left and what do all the women do? Like, what does that mean when they try to start a government, or if it's more tribal, or if there's more commune farms, and they do all three. And they also show that just because it's a matriarchal society doesn't mean it's not violent. In fact, all these different factions are at war with each other, even though they're all women. I mean, it's not like this, oh, we got rid of the guys, we can have peace now. No. It's like Mean Girls times 100. So
it's like Not the Bees.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like really bad. Like, I'm scared of that world more than any other world. And #feminist, but I don't want to be the one that's killed because someone's like, well, Bonnie's got to go. Because she's not providing anything to the commune, doesn't have that organizational skills, so she can't be in government. She can barely drive a car.
It would be interesting to see what would happen if it was all the women, and because we've all read Lord of the Flies, and we've all read all of this stuff, and we know what happens when boys get together all together, unless it's, in the Maze Runner where they just happen to be just, like, nice people. But other than that, like,
I mean, I don't know, like Picnic at Hanging Rock, if you watch that.
I did watch that.
I'm still convinced those girls killed the other girls.
They did.
Yeah,
it was definitely Lord of the Flies.
If you watch a lot of like boarding school movies, especially in the horror film realm, of girls that are left to their own devices and
they get really mean.
It's worse than Lord of the Flies. Like, it is really bad. So I don't trust that necessarily being a gender issue. I think that's more of a when there's not law, when there's not consequences for your actions. Do you do something like The Purge? Do you just rampage and start killing? Or do you?
I don't know. Would you? Okay, like that was one of the questions. Would if there was a breakdown in society, like what would you do that was like a wish fulfilling thing? I would go and I would get a couture bag. Because I would never spend the money on a bag that expensive, but I would raid Barney's and get like a really nice wardrobe.
I would totally raid Anthropology and take everything and Urban Outfitters.
I would raid REI. Sorry.
I would do that as well. You're very smart.
I mean, my first step would be Bevmo. That would be my first stop is Bevmo, and then REI, and then I would be the one that's, I mean, I don't know what you guys have in your earthquake kit. I have tiny bottles of alcohol, toilet paper, tampon,
in my house.
Duct tape.
I'm just saying. Come to Chateau Belmont.
Yeah.
You'll be in good hands.
Why do I feel like Veronica's earthquake kit, she has a grappling hook?
Of course she does.
I wouldn't call it so much an earthquake kit as an end of the world kit.
Oh, wow.
So
we have a plan already.
We have a plan.
Yeah, we have a plan, and it involves the Costco in Roseburg because of where it is surrounded, but how it is situated, and the fact that because it's in Roseburg, Oregon, it carries so many guns. So
that would be the first place to go for sure.
Yeah.
And motorcycles. Okay, last thing, we got to do a little casting before we wrap it up. Guys, any? Okay, I had Allie Larder because like I'm so brain dead from the casting. I picked the first actress who had blonde hair and had the same name, Allie.
From Heroes.
So, from Heroes, yeah. And then I hated these men so much I couldn't picture anything but just hairy arms. So I don't have casting. I don't have casting.
I think for casting for Daniel, I picked the guy who played the redheaded guy from Walking Dead that has the army haircut.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh, that guy.
But not with red hair, but with dark hair version of him.
In real life, yeah.
All right, for Daniel. So he was about 41, and then Finn's supposed to be younger and blonde, so I guess he'd be, I mean, maybe the guy from Shadowhunters who has the lips like that guy. He's really like cheesy looking, but in a hot kind of like, kind of way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I hate that face.
I mean, okay, so you want to hear mine? Do you want to hear?
Yeah, go.
That was really good, Felicia. Do that again. Do the lip thing again.
He does look like that. Looks like he has a guy with lip implants because he's so pretty.
You're totally right. So for Allie, since she had blonde hair, I went for Taylor Swift.
Oh,
that was unexpected.
Nothing against Taylor Swift. She was just on my mind because she had a spectacular picnic this 4th of July, and she's dating Hiddleston. So it's like, you know, the Hiddle Swift. I can't get it out of my brain. So
oh boy,
I see that.
She's also an actress. She's been in stuff. So I was like, okay, so Taylor Swift in there. And then for Daniel, I had a cross between Joe Manganiello.
Oh, okay.
And Janiello.
That guy.
Yeah.
So either him or Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays the dad for the Winchester brothers in Super.
Yeah, no, he's pretty hot too.
He's super hot.
He's hot. So that guy. And then for Finn, I had I get the Hemsworths mixed up. So.
Oh, I do too. You think Liam should be Thor, but it's not true. It's Chris.
Thor.
Chris.
Okay, Chris Hemsworth.
Thor. So Thor.
Right.
Too big.
Winchester dad. Thor.
Yeah, I thought Finn was a smaller guy, smaller than Daniel.
Is he?
It was like, he was kind of like a slender, like.
I don't know any puny blondes other than the guy that played the bad guy in Harry Potter.
The guy on Shadowhunters. Look him up. He's perfect. He's like a
Tom Felton.
What about the guy from Aragon that was also in Kings?
Okay, we had somebody suggested Ezreal from League of Legends.
What? Okay.
Ezreal from League of Legends.
Legoland. What about him?
Legoland?
Yeah.
Just a Lego
Good
guy.
old Legoland.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Orlando Bloom?
Yes. But as blonde.
It was blonde.
I don't know any scrawny blondes. How is this possible? I don't know any scrawny blonde boys.
Felton, that's a good one.
No.
The only blondes I can ever picture is it's just Eric Northman. So I just pictured him as Eric Northman. That was
Perfect.
Okay.
A little smaller, but I'm totally down. I did not know that Eric Northman, who I will only call him Eric Northman.
Yes, he's only Eric Northman.
Is Tarzan. I know.
What? I don't care how bad that movie is.
I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see that shit. I'm gonna go see it.
Okay.
We should all see it like at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. I'm afraid that an animal's gonna die. Even CGI animals, I can't deal with it.
Yeah, there's got to be an animal that dies.
There's gonna be some
plenty.
Well, nobody told me that freaking Finding Nemo is a sob fest. I saw that for the first time this weekend.
I mean,
you mean Finding Dory?
Oh,
I haven't seen Finding Dory yet. No, I had to see Finding Nemo first.
You've never seen Oh my God, yeah. No,
10 years ago.
It's not as bad as Up, but it's still crying so much.
I don't know. I kind of want to go to Alamo Draft House and watch Finding the whatever.
Dory. All right, let's go see Dory.
And eat fish and chips while I'm watching it.
No.
A lot of people.
It's a good note to end on.
But at least you're Finding Nemo. That's where you get that mine.
Okay, next month's book is picked by Kyla. Our community pick this month was Here to Be Monsters by Mel Jean Brooke, and based on the reviews, I'm going to pick that book up because I love that author. We did some steampunk by her earlier a couple years ago, and it's a novella, so I'm totally picking it up, you guys. The next month poll voted A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So that'll be the alt book, and we don't discuss the alt book, but people on the forums do, and in the hangouts, the extra hangouts. So if you want to join in on that one. Kyla picked next month's book, which is Tuesday, the 26th of July. And what book did you pick, Kyla?
I picked, of course, a thing comes up here, so I can't, oh my God, no, go away, close. Okay. No, it's just like an automatic thing from Twitter. All right, okay. It's Rhapsody, Child of the Blood by Elizabeth Hayden. And okay, it's a fantasy adventure novel, but it's got a love story in it. And the protagonist Rhapsody finds herself in jeopardy, having refused the advances of Michael, the self-titled Wind of Death. I've had that. And in her attempt to get away, she falls in with two mysterious men named Grunthor and Ahmed, and soon finds herself the unwilling accomplice in their own escape. Though they run from their past, they eventually realize that no one can outrun their destinies. Anyways, the point is that there's some sort of half-dragon love story, and so I'm into it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a high fantasy book. I read it many years ago, and it was very good, so I'm excited to reread it and revisit it. And so we will see you guys on Tuesday the 26th. Unless something changes, just check the forums. Go to goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy to interact. Post questions for us, interact with the rest of the forum on this book or any other that you want to start a forum post on. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next month. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yay.